So for the past 10 months, I've been using the Nike InfinityRN 4, an amazing pair of running shoes. I started having plantar fasciitis in one of my feet, and I just decided I needed a more supportive shoe. So I popped into the Nike store and randomly bumped into this, the InfinityRN 4. And design-wise, this shoe is definitely speaking my language, especially with the all-black kind of colorway. Every single thing on this shoe from top to bottom, it's a little dirty because I just walked in them actually, is all black. As you can see, there's not a whole lot of branding and stuff on here, so it's a somewhat minimalistic shoe. I love a shoe with a chunky sole, and this midsole is definitely doing it for me. After 10 months, this is probably the #1 pair of shoes that I reach for in my collection. They were a little bit expensive at about $160, but honestly, I feel like it's worth every single penny. The build quality feels absolutely incredible on these. Like, these feel like a very premium pair of running shoes. I also really like the design of this upper, where it has this kind of texture with like these blobs. It's minimal, but it's not boring. It does have some texture. It does have some patterns and stuff going on. And the upper also has these nice ventilation spots, and these do get a little bit warm. I do live in Texas, so it's hot as hell here. And the whole shoe just feels incredibly durable, which I would definitely expect at $160. Like, this thing better last. It's been almost a year, and this thing looks almost brand new. One thing I really like about this midsole as well is it hasn't creased almost at all. Like, you can see a little bit if you look closely, but a lot of other shoes that have this kind of squishy midsole usually crease within like the first second. Like, you put the thing on and it just starts creasing. The React X midsole is also incredibly squishy, incredibly comfortable. I like that kind of dot pattern that it has on there as well. And these shoes fit in really well with my all black aesthetic, especially when I'm dressing up a little bit, and they add a bunch of flair. Because they're all black, they're a lot less assuming. They look and read to me a lot less like running shoes, and they just look like these kind of like, what the F shoes. These are just cool looking. I do a lot of walking and I go to the gym in these. And after 10 months, this outsole is looking pretty good. It has this pretty nice quality rubber. And I've taken this on hikes, on rocks, in the mud, on trails. I took this to Costa Rica, to San Francisco. I've put these things through the freaking ringer, and they still look absolutely fantastic. When it comes to size and weight, I think these shoes are actually a little bit heavy, especially compared to some other Flyknit shoes from Nike that I've tried. These are kind of a heavy shoe, but when it's on feet, it honestly feels really lightweight, and I forget how heavy it is like immediately. So if you're a runner or someone who wants incredibly light shoes, I don't know if the RN4 is gonna be for you, because it is a little bit on the heavy side, but for me, it didn't bother me at all, and I actually like a little bit of heft on my shoe. It makes me feel like it's a little more substantial, a little more premium, and I think because of the chunkiness, it's incredibly comfortable. Like, I can stand on these shoes and walk in them, go to the gym, do whatever in these, and my feet don't hurt. They don't ache. After several hours of being in these shoes, my knees are fine. Like, I just did a 30-minute walk pretty briskly. I don't feel fatigued, like, almost at all. It just feels like, honestly, one of the most comfortable shoes I've ever worn. Probably the most comfortable Nike shoe I've ever worn. And it's so comfortable that I'm considering getting like a second or third pair of these just to have as backups. Or maybe another colorway, I don't know, maybe the all white or something. And when it comes to practicality, if you're caught in a little bit of rain, these actually have a water resistant membrane. They're not 100% waterproof. Like, there's no Gore-Tex or anything on here. There is a Gore-Tex version if you're into that kind of thing of the RN4. I've definitely used these on trails where there's a little bit of water going on and dunked my feet in these a little bit in the beautiful water of Costa Rica. And these did get a little wet. If there's like a downpour or something like that, the water is probably going to go right through, because there are some breathable holes and stuff on this upper. So these are not completely waterproof, but they are water resistant. One of the coolest features of the shoe, though, is this tongue up here is not only gusseted, but it's also elasticized. So it's sewn into the side of the shoe. So once you put your foot in the shoe, you can actually pull this tongue up and down a little bit. And it's hard to describe, but it kind of conforms to your foot. Like, you just pull it up and it's nice and snug without being super tight. It's a really cool hidden design feature, and it's ultra comfortable and very functional. Another thing I love about the shoe is this part right here has this really cool texture. It adds a little bit of mystery and mystique to the shoe, but it also is very functional. It has this interesting kind of rubberized texture that when you tie your shoe, where you tie the shoe here kind of meets that rubberized texture, and it kind of keeps the shoelaces in place. And I'm not sure if that's the intention of this little bar right here, but these shoes have never come untied for me. I don't think once. So I don't know, hashtag miracles. And from an aesthetic and fashion standpoint, I feel like these can mix with all kinds of fits. Like, I've worn these with more avant-garde kind of darkwear, techwear type of outfits. I've worn these with like some from Rick Owens and Yohji Yamamoto, ISSEY MIYAKE, and other designers. And these shoes just fit in, especially for the all black fits, going out and about to get groceries or whatever. These are like the shoes that can kind of do it all. These also fit right into a more minimalistic type of wardrobe, which is something that I've been trying to go towards. Not just all black, but also like no logos if I can avoid them, or just minimal branding and more focusing on texture, silhouette. These have a killer silhouette. They have that really interesting texture just all over. So when it comes to cons, I really don't have a lot of negative things to say about the RN4. But one thing that comes to mind is sizing. Like, it's a little weird on this. Usually in Nike running shoes, I wear a 10, but I read on the website you should probably go up like a half size because these do run a little bit tight. They run a little bit narrow. I think my feet are kind of normal to wide. These feel a little bit snug when it comes to the width of the shoe, but I took Nike's advice and I actually sized up a half size in these. So my normal Nike shoe size for running shoes is typically a 10, and then the RN4 I got a 10.5, and they fit like a glove. Like, they fit super well, but I would recommend sizing up a half size from your normal Nike size. Another potential con of these shoes is because this midsole is super squishy, it almost feels too squishy sometimes, where if you need like a really quick lift off the ground or something, these feel like they kind of squish down into the ground and then gradually go back up. So because it's so squishy, it kind of lacks a little bit of stability in that way. But I could see that being kind of a design flaw, especially if you're rolling your feet out to the side a little bit. So it's a little bit unstable and you might actually roll your ankle a little bit. I haven't personally had that issue with these yet, but I could see like hardcore runners possibly having that issue with these shoes. But overall, I 100% recommend the InfinityRN 4. These are probably one of the most comfortable pairs of shoes I have ever worn. They're built super solid. They look amazing. This black colorway to me is very mysterious, very devastating. Fits right into the all black wardrobe. The midsole is super squishy, very functional, very beautiful. And it's insane that these are almost a year old, yet they look almost brand new. I love this gusseted tongue as well. The fact that these have a little bit of water resistance is also amazing. It's kind of like an ultimate all-around shoe. So let me know in the comments, what are your thoughts about the Nike InfinityRN 4? Have you worn them for a while? What do you think about these versus like the Pegasus Trail, the Pegasus? And if you watched all the way to the end of this video, leave a bear emoji in the comments down below. Smash the like button and subscribe down below as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.